Work less and earn more money? It sounds absurd, but Donald Trump did that to become the successful person he is today. Let's find out with me. They say the world never sleeps anymore. That hustle is a badge of honor. That if you're not grinding 24/7, you're falling behind. And no one embodied that belief more than Donald J. Trump. They say the world never sleeps anymore. That hustle is a badge of honor. That if you're not grinding 24/7, you're falling behind. And no one embodied that philosophy more than Donald J. Trump. He was the ultimate workhorse. The man who turned sleep into weakness. The guy who built towers, casinos, TV empires, even a presidency, on coffee, adrenaline, and raw ambition. Sleep is for losers, he once said. While others are resting, I'm making deals. His schedule was legendary. Wake up at 4:30 a.m., tweet by 5 o'clock, 3 meetings before 7 o'clock. Caffeine-fueled, nonstop, no breathing room. No second wasted. But here's what no one tells you. What if doing more actually means achieving less? That day came sooner than Trump expected. Not as a breakdown. Not as a public scandal. But as a moment of unexpected clarity. A pause. A crack in the system. And through that crack, something unexpected entered: stillness. And everything began to change. It was just past 4 a.m. Trump sat in his gold-trimmed office at Trump Tower, the city still dark outside his penthouse windows. The air inside was sharp with stale coffee and overworked ambition. His eyes were bloodshot. His face pale. His fingers trembled slightly with every new sip of Diet Coke. 3 phones were lit up on his desk. 2 assistants stood nearby, talking over one another. Mr. Trump, the Saudi deal needs review by noon. And we just got word CNN's dropping a hit piece at 6 a.m. He waved both of them off, eyes glued to his phone. Quiet. I'm tweeting. But then something strange happened. He stared. And stared. The tweet wouldn't come. His mind, usually quick like a whip, blanked. He furrowed his brow. Tapped one key. Deleted it. Then another. Still nothing. He glanced at his assistant. What's my schedule again? He asked, confused. She hesitated. Sir, are you okay? The room went still. Trump chuckled nervously, trying to shake it off. He stood up quickly, but the blood drained from his face. He reached for the desk to steady himself. I'm fine. Just didn't eat. Or sleep. Or whatever. I'm good. But even as he said it, a small voice inside him whispered something he had never allowed before. You're not fine. His body was speaking. And this time he couldn't ignore it. For the first time in years, Donald Trump felt something more powerful than control. He felt his limit. 2 hours later, he sat in a discreet, dimly lit clinic hidden on the 26th floor of Trump Tower. The walls, lined with silent medical equipment and soft jazz playing overhead, were a stark contrast to the chaos he lived in daily. Dr. Levin, his longtime physician, entered with a tablet in hand. He'd watched Trump push through illness, ignore migraines, and dismiss exhaustion for years. But today his voice had changed. Donald, this isn't about stamina anymore. This is about survival. Trump, sitting rigid on the leather exam chair, scoffed lightly. Come on, document. I'm not some rookie CEO. I've worked like this since the 80s. It's just pressure. Dr. Levin didn't even blink. Your body doesn't care about legacy. Your brain is in burnout mode. Your cortisol levels are off the charts. Sleep deprivation is hitting your short-term memory. Your heart rate variability is flatlining. He turned the tablet toward Trump, showing a colorful chart full of jagged spikes and worrying trends. Donald, you don't need another assistant. You don't need another headline. You need sleep. Real, uninterrupted human sleep. Trump looked down, silent. Then finally spoke. I always thought if I slowed down I'd lose. That someone would outpace me. Outwork me. Dr. Levin leaned forward. You're not losing by resting. You're losing by pretending you're not human. You want to keep winning? Then treat your brain like the billion-dollar asset it is. A long pause. Trump stared at the floor. Then looked back at the doctor. You think I can actually be sharper if I stop? If I pause? I don't think it. I know it. Your mind is a muscle. You're not letting it recover. Slowly, Trump nodded. And for the first time in a long time, he listened. Later that day, the executive boardroom at Trump Tower was buzzing with energy. The air smelled of cologne, espresso, and nervous ambition. Every seat was filled. Advisors, legal teams, project managers. all ready to pitch the next mega project. A luxury golf resort in Iceland. On the large screen behind them glowed a rotating 3D render of the resort. A sprawling complex surrounded by glaciers, hot springs, and helipads. This was peak Trump. A legacy project. A monument. They expected him to come in with fire. With questions. With one of his infamous interruptions. Instead, Donald Trump walked in slowly. No tie. No red cap. Just a strange calm in his eyes. He sat down at the head of the table, looked around, and said, "Gentlemen, today I'm going to do something I've never done before." Everyone froze. Some shuffled papers. One person gulped. "I'm going to take a nap." A few people chuckled awkwardly. Others looked at each other, wondering if this was some kind of negotiation stunt. No notes. No questions. Just 30 minutes. Keep the lights dim. And don't wake me unless the building's on fire. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and silence fell over the room. At first the team kept whispering, "Is this a test? Is he actually asleep? Do we keep going?" But slowly the room surrendered to the silence. Laptops closed. Coffee cups paused midair. Even the air conditioner seemed to hum quieter. Exactly 37 minutes later, Trump sat up, rubbed his eyes, looked at the glowing Icelandic golf resort map, then said with stunning clarity, "Solar-powered golf carts. Geothermal clubhouse. We brand the whole resort as carbon-negative luxury." He pointed at the screen. "And here's the tagline, make golf great and green again." Nobody spoke. Then the VP of marketing whispered, That might actually go viral." "It will," Trump said confidently. "And this nap? Best RO I've had in weeks." Everyone nodded. Something had shifted. Not just in strategy, but in Trump himself. This wasn't a power nap. This was a power move. Advisors had graphs, numbers, slides. Tension in the air. Trump walked in slowly, his voice softer than usual. "Gentlemen, today I'm going to do something I've never done before." People braced. "I'm going to take a nap." Confused laughter. Nervous glances. Then silence. He leaned back, closed his eyes and slept. For 37 minutes. When he woke up he looked at the board. Solar-powered golf carts. Clean energy. Make golf great and green again. No one spoke. Until someone whispered, "That's actually genius." That nap was the beginning of a ripple effect. Not just in Donald Trump's schedule, but in his philosophy of life. Something in him had shifted. He wasn't just rested. He was rebooted. He started doing something his staff had never seen before. He slowed down. Gone were the 14-hour days packed with back-to-back meetings. Gone were the 3 a.m. tweet storms fueled by frustration and Diet Coke. Instead, he began taking slow, quiet walks through Central Park alone. No bodyguards. No press. Just the sound of wind rustling through leaves. "I haven't heard silence in years," he muttered once to himself. He took his time. Not out of weakness, but intention. One afternoon, sitting on a bench under a blooming cherry tree, Ivanka joined him. She looked surprised. "Dad, you're not even checking your phone. Are you okay?" "I'm better than okay," he said, smiling faintly. "I used to run full speed like a freight train, but I forgot to refuel. Now I pause, recharge, then go further." She looked at him, genuinely impressed. "You seem lighter." "Clarity, honey," he nodded. "It's the new currency." Back at the office, his team took notice. Meetings that used to drag on for hours now lasted 20 minutes. Sharp, clear, and decisive. Briefings were tighter. His legendary temper? Rarely seen. One intern whispered in awe, "He's listening." He actually listens now. He even picked up a new morning habit, puzzles. Yes, 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles. Presidents on Mount Rushmore. A tiger in the jungle. The Eiffel Tower. "It's strategy training," he explained. "You start with the corners, work the edges, then bring the pieces together." His tweets didn't vanish, but they changed. Fewer, smarter, better timed. No more rants. Just sharp, deliberate messages that sparked conversation instead of chaos. Behind closed doors, advisors began calling it the calm Trump era. He was still himself, still ambitious, opinionated, and commanding. But now he was balanced. He didn't lose his edge. He found his center. And that made him more dangerous than ever, in the best way possible. Trump started walking slowly through Central Park. No entourage, just wind and trees. He canceled back-to-back meetings, shortened briefings, meditated sort of, played puzzles, ate real meals. I used to run full speed, he told Ivanka, but forgot to refuel. Now I pause, recharge, then go further. He wasn't lazy. He was focused. Staff noticed. Meetings became shorter, decisions sharper. His tweets were fewer but more impactful. He was still Trump, just a better version. The transformation wasn't just internal, it became a brand, a movement, a ripple across boardrooms and media networks alike. What began as a nap became a global rebranding of the Trump philosophy. He launched a podcast called Sleep to Succeed. In the first episode, he opened with, "Everyone told me sleep was a weakness. But I found out, sleep is leverage." The podcast climbed to the top of business charts within weeks. Businessmen, athletes, even political rivals tuned in. Next came the book, The Art of the Snooze, a parody in name but not in message. It detailed his new daily structure, 90-minute creative windows, followed by walking breaks, nutritious meals, and one sacred ritual, a midday nap. In an interview on Bloomberg, a host asked, "Mr. Trump, are you saying rest is your new business strategy?" Trump smiled. "I'm saying it's the ultimate edge. You want to win in the long game? Learn to recharge." He even began appearing at conferences dressed in slightly looser suits, softer tones, often quoting philosophers instead of financial stats. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action." For me, that impediment was overwork. Executives laughed at first, but they started copying him. CEOs began scheduling executive quiet hours. Silicon Valley startups began integrating power naps into their work culture. The Trump Organization saw a spike in internal innovation. Staff retention increased. Productivity soared. One senior advisor said privately, "He didn't just become more human. He became more strategic." In a later board meeting, someone joked, "We used to run on chaos. Now we run on circadian rhythms." Trump chuckled. "You're welcome." He wasn't just winning deals now. He was winning clarity, energy, presence. He didn't slow down to fade out. He slowed down to last. And the empire didn't shrink. It evolved. Trump 2.0 wasn't louder. He was smarter. And that, in the end, was his most surprising power play yet. He wrote a new book, The Art of the Snooze. He even coined a new slogan. Work smart. Nap hard. Executives laughed at first. But they also started copying him. He wasn't just winning deals now. He was winning clarity, energy, and control. He didn't slow down to quit. He slowed down to last. Here's a truth that few people tell you. You don't have to do more to achieve more. Sometimes the bravest decision is to do less. Donald Trump, once the poster boy for the relentless work culture, learned a lesson that many of us ignore. The body has limits. The mind needs quiet. And it's in that quiet that amazing things begin to happen, ideas emerge, clarity returns, and goals become clearer than ever. Rest is not laziness. It's not weakness. Rest is preparation. It's strategy. It's strength. We live in a world that glorifies exhaustion, where being tired is considered a badge of honor. But what if things have been going wrong all along? Trump realized that true power comes not from being everywhere, but from being there at the right time and in the right way. It's not about being busy. It's about being alert and focused. If someone as busy and relentless as Donald Trump can learn to stop, so can you. If Trump dares to take a break, then all the more so should we. Your time is precious. So is your focus. Protect both and don't forget to give yourself time to breathe. You don't have to be exhausted to stand out. You just have to be brave to stop for a while. If this story changed your perspective, please like to support us. Leave a comment. What is one thing you can stop or start this week to protect your energy? Subscribe to never miss more inspiring stories full of new perspectives on success, productivity, and mindfulness. Remember, sometimes the most powerful step is a well-timed stop.